Hello, and welcome to a special extra episode of the Valley of Spirits. Coming out of nowhere, we saw the Warcraft Direct, and we were so excited that we have to do an impromptu episode.
Yeah. Oh, they had some amazing stuff. They did.
And we want to give our opinions on it, get the news out there. I mean, there's lots of people already getting the news out there, but
yeah,
I'm excited to talk about the parts we're excited for and what we were able to kind of derive from some of the unspoken corporate speak of a Direct. So we'll get into a couple of topics. We're talking about the new RTS stuff that's coming out. We have some Hearthstone changes. We have Warcraft Rumble stuff. And then we also have a bunch of interesting classic news. And then obviously some retail stuff. They cover a couple of things, and maybe even not only a roadmap posting, but we also have maybe a hint at player housing. So we'll get into all that stuff coming up. And so the only thing I really wanted to talk about in the intro is it's definitely worth a watching the Direct. It almost in some places had me like tearing up a little bit watching all the nostalgia and all the old zones and everybody telling their stories about how they got into the company in World of Warcraft. So it's pretty exciting. The opening interviews were good. Definitely worth a watch if you have the time for it, for sure. But if you don't, we're going to cover the important stuff. So
we're going to go right through it.
Yeah, we're going. We're keeping it moving, baby. Would you walk us through a little bit of what they talked about with the Warcraft RTS?
Yeah. So Warcraft 3 Reforged is getting their 2.0 patch, granting players a mix and match graphical style. So between the old and new graphic settings, and you're going to get better hotkeys and better UI designs, as well as, we talked about it in this week's episode, that we were like, oh, well, they leaked Warcraft 2. Not just 2, but they also launched Warcraft 1. So and then on top of it, they're like, oh, by the way, you can just buy the battle chest like the old days, which is awesome, I think, personally. So you get Warcraft 1 and 2 Reforged as well, which was released today, which is November 13th, 2024. You can buy it in the store. They also have been upgraded with better graphics, and Blizzard provided us the ability to swap back and forth from original to new graphics in real time. They also provided quality of life updates such as UI, item selection. All legacy custom maps are also going to be able to work as they said should. So,
which is insane.
Yeah, that's awesome. On top of that, we're also the battle chest as well. And that, if you do buy the battle chest, which is going to be the best way unless you already purchased Warcraft 3 Reforged, you save like $15 in total if you were to go instead of buy each game individually. But that pretty much is the quick RTS update. Jordan, you got Hearthstone and Rumble, I believe?
Yeah, so one thing I wanted to say about the RTS games real quick before we move on is I like that they're adding that switch between the graphics real time, like in the time you want. That's really exciting. As I talked about it in our last episode, how Halo, I would switch it to the old one and forget and stuff. And so I'm excited. It kind of gives you, even if you're stuck in the new art style, which they're doing hand-drawn sprites, which I think is really exciting, really cute looking from what I saw. So that's very exciting. But you can also be like, what did this used to look like? And turn it back into like 800 by 600 mode.
And then you kind of throw up your mouth a bit like, oh, God. I did that on Halo all the time. It's like, ugh. I'm going to keep it the new way. I like it.
But yes, I'm going to briefly go through these, the Hearthstone, and because we are a World of Warcraft kind of centered deal, so I'm going to move through these kind of quickly just for those that have a couple of their hands in different spots. Hearthstone is getting the Great Dark Beyond in January of next year, which is pretty exciting. Not too long to wait for that. You'll be getting, they said, and quote, we wanted to take our mini set further into the cosmos than ever before. And so what they mean by this is they're adding StarCraft stuff.
Yeah.
There's going to be essentially a new factions now. They're adding like the Protoss, the Terran, and the Zerg as like card types, and like
which is gonna be sweet. I think. Like I don't really play Hearthstone that much, but I like that they're starting to mix it all together. It might just end up being like a full Blizzard RTS.
Yeah, Blizzard card game, right? It's pretty exciting. For the guys that play Hearthstone, it might screw up the meta, but it sounds cool. So. I don't know enough about it. We're going to move on to Warcraft Rumble.
And we're going.
And so they're adding a new zone. You guys remember they did that Molten Core raid? They're going to be adding another one here shortly. They didn't put a date on it, but they said they're adding another one. They are adding new dungeons. There's a Dark Moon Fair in it now.
You said
and
it right.
What? Dark Food Mare? The Dark Food Mare.
You spelled it wrong in the notes and say it right.
I know. It said it right. I know. That's like our meme now. I got to get better at that. And then the most important part that is actually relevant to me and Nick were talking before the show, that it's coming to PC.
Yeah.
And on December 10th, the beta will launch.
Which I think is great.
And I think that's my best chance of playing it. Like,
Well, how often do we
play
sit
on phone games at work, right? So
I don't. I mean, I don't play on phone games. Period. I just don't like it.
Yeah, I don't. Right.
I hold my phone enough, but it's going to be great if we're able to. The way they described it, kind of, or announced it, was one of the guys who works on the Rumble goes in, starts WoW, gets in like sort of an LFR, and then starts up Rumble.
He was, of course, his DPS.
Yeah,
18
like
minutes.
If I can do that on like a 20-minute queue as like a tank, a healer, because like God, the LFR today was like ridiculous when I did it.
Mm-hmm.
But
LFRs during the day, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like if I have a long queue, I'm gonna play Rumble. Great chance I'm gonna do that.
Mm-hmm. So I'm excited. I played it a little bit on mobile, but I'm definitely gonna try it a little bit more now that it's on PC.
Yeah.
It's just I like playing games here. This is my game station, right?
This is my jam.
They did talk a little bit. They shouted out their Netflix documentary, which we've actually never talked about on the show yet. So I did want to take a moment to talk about it. It is the documentary about the gentleman that has muscular dystrophy and was using all the, controls and the actually, it's a really cool part of the direct if you want to watch, but it shows like his ball mouse and a bunch of individual buttons he moves around to be able to pick abilities and stuff. But it's mostly he was part of a role-playing guild, took their role-play pretty seriously in a role-play guild, and they do a whole documentary about how it changed his life and how his parents got to see the good side of gaming, which is not the side of gaming a lot of parents see nowadays with the Call of Duties and the Fortnites, right?
Right.
Bunch of screaming children, right? So it's pretty good. The most important part I wanted to drive from this is if you do want to support gamers and that have muscular dystrophy and other disabilities, you can buy that the Fox Pet bundle, which then they donate to a muscular dystrophy.
Which I thought was really cool. They set that up. It's just, like that's stuff like that shows shows how amazing our community is. That we have such a great game that somebody that has a disability can come in and play and like live life to an extent that they aren't able to in real life.
Yeah. And so the Netflix documentary goes way more into that than we will. But very good watch for sure.
Yeah.
We do have some WoW Classic changes. The most important thing that I took away from this is that they are going to be re-releasing AQ, and they're going to be making some changes to it.
Mm-hmm.
I hated AQ back in the day. It was very, resistance armor, and it was very vanilla. Very vanilla. And so then they're also planning to release, later in this season of Discovery Cycle, also Nax, which is like the epitome of all the gear problems in World of Warcraft. So I'm interested to see what they do with it, if they make it more exciting, a little more streamlined, or, is it Season of Discovery? It's not going to be just AQ.
Right.
Or just Nax. It's going to be more modernized versions, maybe hopefully a little bit more fun to play versions of these raids. Sorry.
It'll be more enjoyable.
Subjectiveness aside, but
the nostalgia pipe doesn't get it going for you. You gotta have it be better.
No. Unfortunately not. We do have Cataclassic will be releasing soon. The Hour of Twilight the Hour of Twilight patch, the Dragon Soul patch.
Right.
Which I've talked on our podcast time and time again. I hate this patch. This is definitely up in the top 5 of my least favorite patches in the history of World of Warcraft.
Yes.
But I'm going to be playing it because you know what they announced, Nick?
What?
Pandaria Classic, baby. My favorite expansion in Warcraft.
Yeah, when I watched the whole live stream, because I work from home, so I was able to while you were at work.
Right.
I was like, oh, Jordan's going to love this. Like, it's the only time you're going to play Classic with me.
Yeah, probably. But I'm really excited too. There were some problems like this. It still worked on the old school Valor system back when it played then, and there were some problems with Pandaria. But I'm excited to go experience them again. I want to go take a dump on MSV. I want to go take some bugs out back in Heart of Fear. I want to destroy the Shah of Anger in Terrace of Endless Spring. So I'm pretty excited. That was one of my favorite expansions. So
I like how you still know it all.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'll be well qualified for the raids in that.
Yeah.
In that expansion for sure.
So anyway, we also have more Classic going on too. Not just Kata Classic moving to Panda Classic, but they're also coming out with weird. I don't like the way they titled it. I think they could have come up with something better. With the WoW 20th Anniversary Edition, it's Classic Experience is what they said in the live stream. But its new realms are going to be added on November 21st, 2024 for Classic players, including PvE, PvP, Normal, and Hardcore. They're going to launch with all the additional quality of lives that have been developed over time for World of Warcraft Classic. They're also going to do much like Season of Discovery, following the phase schedule, and eventually from my understanding, all of Classic is going to shift into Burning Crusade. I don't know why they're doing that, I'm going to be honest. Like, I don't know if my hardcore character that I haven't really touched in a couple months is moving to Burning Crusade or not. Like, I don't understand what they're doing. Because now it seems like we have retail, we have Season of Discovery, and we have Kata Classic, and now we're just going to have another Classic that moves eventually up the scales and expansions. So I don't get what they're doing with it, but it's still kind of cool, I think. But
right.
They are also... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
We had a guildie that had brought up that some people were kind of asking for like a reset. So that way, reset the economy and all that. Which, I don't play Classic. I don't really know how gross the Classic Legacy economy has gotten. But what I do know is that Vanilla WoW didn't go on for 6 years. Right?
Right.
This economy has had a lot of time to age. You
know?
Well,
and the thing is, too, has it gotten a bit stagnant on stuff? But I would say it's stagnant because of, a mix that we have no new additional things. Like you said, it's stuck in Classic itself and Vanilla. But also the fact that, like, you maybe have, like, 3,000-4,000 players play, if I'm right. I don't remember last time I looked at pop count. But, like, there's not a ton, like retail is, where you're having an increased velocity of sales and transactions through the auction house happening. So It'll be cool. It'll be interesting. Like I said, I'm up in the air about it. I'm still going to play, and I'm definitely going to be playing hardcore. So
yeah, you do play the hardcore. I don't.
Yeah, I want that. I want that drive to 60 real bad.
So, I know. You haven't been working on it lately, though.
Yeah, I do have one recording of the hardcore done, but I was waiting until we started doing video because I did it with my face on it. So I got to do the editing on it and then start probably doing that every week again. Or when I have spare time.
Well, yeah, so some hardcore content coming from the Valley of Spirits.
Yeah, it's fun. I love it.
So moving to retail.
Yeah, the thing everybody wants to hear. We saved the best for last.
Yeah, we saved the best for last. Here it is. What they talked about in retail. So, I don't know exactly how you say his name, but I'm going to say it. Ion Hazoki Straws, something like that.
Completely butchered it.
He's the executive producer for World of Warcraft. So he started out his thing. I just wanted to shout this out real quick. He shouted out that all his problems, some of his problems over the years being on Mal'Ganis, the server. Which, hey, guess what we're on? Guess what I've always been on.
Yeah, you moved me here from
I did. I brought you here, yes, to the and so he talked a little bit about how on the first couple of days of an expansion our entire server was broken. And so that was kind of funny.
Yes.
Relatable, especially for sure. Yeah.
I did get excited when he was like on the Mal'Ganis server. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. He's a Mal'Ganis boy.
Yeah.
So they did talk about the new island. We did talk about in our last episode a little bit that they were going to be they hinted at doing essentially another Forbidden Reach kind of island. And so they did announce the name of this island. It is being called Siren Isle. and it'll be coming out in the 11. See, I said it this time. 11.0.7 patch.
Yeah, you have to fix it.
I know we're not still in Dragonflight, right? And what I'm most excited for is they are giving us one of our pilot characters for the Nightmare expansion.
Yeah.
Which is pretty exciting. We're going to learn about. They look kind of gross and a little feral in a way, so I'm kind of excited to learn about this character.
Cool.
See what kind of mixed race we're kind of getting here. They're kind of like troll elves. They look like. You definitely have to look it up for yourself to get justice, but there is an interesting history of Azeroth we're going to get with this new island. And then the catch-up mechanic, of course. I'm sure there's going to be a way to get gear and things to get ready for Season 2 or Tier 2, right?
This is the equivalent of, what was the other one in Dragon Isles that they had? Forgotten Reach.
Yeah. Well, I think it's Forbidden, or is it Forgotten? I thought it was Forbidden.
I thought it was Forgotten.
Reach. It could be Forgotten Reach. Either way, same concept.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're going to utilize some of the same tools for catch-up mechanics as they did there.
Which is fine. Like, if it worked the first time, do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't give me don't copy-paste it totally.
Right.
Give me some
they're
new
giving
area.
us story with it. They're giving us story with it. And,
which is good.
So we talked about this already. I'm gloss over this. All he really said is that they're re-releasing Plunderstorm, and then they called it a Plunder Store, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, they're adding a store to it, so we don't have to just do it like how you did the first time and run through it. Which I think is nice.
Yeah, what I talked about in my episode, my solo episode, was it is cool that they put it on like a vendor, because you can choose what is worth it, how much of your time you want to spend for this. Buy the things you want, and then call it a day. Or if you're, a super nerd that wants them all, then you can do it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's cool. You can choose your own experience. I'm happy about that. They are revamping Winter Veil. They said very little about exactly what they're doing, but they are adding stuff to that. So I guess we'll have to go in and check it out and talk to you about it.
I'm excited for that, because Christmas is one of my favorite holidays.
It was, they brought it up in their direct, so they're changing more things than a couple cosmetics.
Something decent.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what that the trading post is going to be for Christmas. Sorry. I just got excited about it.
I know. It'll, I'm sure it'll be festive. I hope they give us like a little Christmas tree toy or something.
Oh, that would be so
Wouldn't that
sweet,
be sweet
if you could put up a Christmas tree.
Yeah, and imagine if people could like click under it and put presents on it or something.
That would be sweet.
That'd be so
cool.
Or
like,
write this down, Blizzard. Write this down.
Open little presents, because like say it gets like 5, 10 little fake presents. You could click on one and like you just get something. Just a like common item, like nothing fancy.
Right, like maybe a party streamer or something, cosmetic, who knows?
Another toy with like 5 uses or whatever would be cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting off track.
They did also shout out, they are doing novellas, which to my understanding is like a short novel that's voiced. It's
I think so.
Is my understanding of what a novella is. And they are calling it Heartlands, which this covers. There was a certain amount of period of time that Jaina and Thrall were doing things that didn't involve the War Within in between Dragonflight, and so this covers what they were doing during that time.
Right.
I'm definitely gonna take a listen. I drive for work, so you better believe I'm gonna crunch these out. So.
That's how you get all those audiobooks down.
Mm-hmm. And so our new little area that we'll be getting. So we're moving on. This is going on from 11.0.7, and this is 11.1 now. We're talking about.
Yeah.
And they're calling it the Undermined patch. We'll be following Xalatath into essentially the Goblin capital,
which I think is going to be awesome.
I'm really excited. I haven't even got to the part I'm really excited about.
I know.
But. I think it's going to be. I'm interested to see how they tie Xalatath into this. Obviously, goblins are easily bought, so I imagine this isn't going to be too hard for her to have some influence here.
I didn't think about that.
And so I'm interested to see how she interacts with the goblins, how, because they have all 4 of the factions of goblins, the Bilgewater and the et cetera, right? All the 4 factions of goblins will be there in the capital. So I'm interested to see what the little quests read, how they bicker with each other, the interaction.
How many warranties get voided from the player base?
For real. Oh my gosh. And so the exciting part that I wanted to talk about is they are introducing once you get to this new zone, you'll get a vehicle. You'll get a 4-wheeled car. And what they described exactly in verbatim in the direct was that you will be able to like customize if it gets more grip or more speed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I mean, my imagination is already going through the roof with this. I'm like, I'm gonna be Tokyo drifting around this place, baby. Like,
you stole my line. I was gonna say it's Need for Speed in Warcraft.
right. And so Warcraft Kart. Who needs Mario Kart anymore?
Exactly. Oh, dude, if they come out with a mini game for that,
dude, they have my Battle Royale. They have Mario Kart now. Or, I'm sorry, Warcraft Kart, and then they have.
I'll never need another game.
I'll never need another game.
Nope, I'm done buying games.
So I'm really excited. Obviously, they could botch this. It could be really buggy. This is a new mechanic. This is part of that engine they've been working on. I'm sure this utilizes parts of that. So I hope they nail this. It could be a lot of fun and really exciting. But I imagine if we're glitching around and like popping around and we're controlling it with like right click or something, it might not be.
I hope it's just WASD and stuff. Like,
I hope they do like a racing game. Yeah.
I mean, you could do that just spells. I mean, you already have just turn it into a vehicle. I like
right
instead of a mount, even though they're calling it a mount.
Well, they have. I'm sure. Who knows the back end? The back end of that's beyond me at this point. They're doing it, so I hope it works.
Yeah.
And so, will you tell us about the new dungeon, Operation Floodgate?
Yep, so we're going to get a new dungeon. Operation Floodgate takes place inside the Goblin home area. An undermine. Sorry, I forgot what it was for a second. But it sounds like the whole storyline for the dungeon is that we're just trying to stop them from flooding it, basically, is the gist I got when I was reading or listening to it. But that's going to get in the rotation of Season 2, and that's going to be with 4 other dungeons plus 3 legacy dungeons. So we're going to have 8 total dungeons for that. And Motherlode is going to be one of those. We're going to get that back from BFA, which I'm actually excited about. I do and don't like that dungeon. I find it a bit of a pain in the ass.
We'll see. We'll see how it does in keys. I don't even know where to start with that. I think
it was a
parts
key
of it are
dungeon
fun
for a while. I think for us, wasn't it? In one of the seasons prior in Dragonflight. Anyway. We're also going to get 2 new delves, and they're adding variations to existing delves. So we're going to get 2 brand new maps plus extra ways to do various delves. Bran and Xavier are also getting updates in this coming patch as well. For PvPers, they're also going to get a new map when it comes to the overall new content we're getting. So you're going to get a new map that's kind of based in the same area as well. And
so
did you want to hit on the big thing they talked about that I'm really excited for?
I was before we moved on.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'll let you start that topic. It's pretty hot one. But I did want to. So the Braun updates, obviously, they talked about they were going to be adding new variations to the old dungeons to the old delves. And so Nick and I talked about this, whether they were going to keep delves relevant or not, and it sounds like they intend to.
Yeah.
They intend to. That was the important takeaway I got from this, is that your old delves, you will be able to turn up to the higher difficulties, it sounds like, and then be able to get relevant gear for Season 2 or Tier 2.
Yep.
Which
I think it's good that they're keeping delves as relevant as all the other content. It's a great... I mean, you and I play the hell out of them. It's a good piece of content. Like, can't get a full grip, let's go run delves.
Right, or if you got a buddy who is brand-ass new to the game, and
it's a great
you don't
teaching ground.
And they get relevant gear. It's not like we have to drag them through an M0 with them and a pug or something, right?
Exactly. And then that can be a big old CF.
So delves are really cool because there's no timer, and you hang out with your buddies.
It is. I have to remind myself so many times there's no timer. Like, I'm like, it's key. It's key. Like, I gotta run it at the time.
No, deaths is what matters. You can pull real slow if you want.
Oh, yeah. Easy peasy.
So Nick, what is our final topic for our direct here?
Yes, I'm actually excited about this. I thought that it was never going to come, and I'm actually excited that it's coming here. Player housing in Midnight. Like, I'm actually pumped about it. I am stoked. They had a very little tiny teaser, and I'll probably put it up when we do the editing. But I'm so excited for this. I think it's going to be cool. I'm curious on how they're going to do it, because are they going to add in another why can't I think of the word I want? Like archaeology was a minor one. Profession.
Another minor profession.
Yeah, another minor profession.
Or secondary.
Right, because the only other game I've played that has an MMO format that's had player housing was RuneScape, and they did add a full nother profession style based thing to it, right? So I don't know if they're going to end up doing that. I don't know if they're going to try to involve blacksmithing, engineering, or whatnot, because they kind of already have everybody laid out to do little odds and ends for the player. In my mind, like herbalism could make potted plants and stuff like that, just easy crap. But I think it's going to be sweet.
Right,
Jordan.
and then you can buy it for pennies on the auction house or something if you're not an herbalist, right?
Yep, which I think would be sweet.
So,
do you think it's going to be fun, Jordan? What is your opinion on it?
Let me poo-poo it before I get excited about it. So we'll start with the negative.
Okay.
This house or housing area they create, I hope that they don't make it too useful. Because for those that played in Warlords of Draenor, if you remember what the garrisons were like, which was your city, it was like you never really saw anybody else, ever. Mm-hmm. I'm playing an MMO by myself.
And not seeing anybody in a major city.
Right. There's no reason to go to the city because once you tricked out your garrison, you had everything there.
Right.
So they need to, they definitely need to make sure it's not, like, better than going to a city, right?
Mm-hmm.
My opposite side of this is I'm not the biggest, like, I play a garbage game that nobody should ever play called Genshin Impact. And they have an enormously well-developed housing system in that game that you can build your own house and decorate it with billions of different things. And I have not even touched it because there's no benefit from it. It's all cosmetic. Why would I? So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
If they stick it to cosmetic, because you make a great point when it comes to the just depleting cities. I did think about that, but I was like, nah, they won't do that. But they might. I hope it's just cosmetic because, like I said, I still want to be able to go to a city and actually feel like it's populated, not just like a ghost town.
Right, and yes, what it'll end up being is my really super cosmetic transmog friend will be like, dude, look what I did with my house, and I'll like go in their house and be like, sweet, you want to see mine? And then I'll go over to mine, and it's like an empty warehouse.
Has all the free shit they give you at the start of it. The one chair, the table, the cobwebs are still there.
Then I never
gotta clean it for the quest.
Right. So I don't really see myself doing too much of the housing, but I do think it should be a thing. Because there's a number of notable MMOs that have it.
I think it's going to be really good, too, and it's something that you and I have both talked about wanting to maybe look into is for the RP people in Warcraft. I think it's really going to give them a lot more. I know what was the recent one they gave them? The no pants, I think it was, right? Was that it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're like, everybody was up in a storm. Can you believe what that area of the community is doing now with player housing coming out? It's going to be...
Yeah, it's going to explode.
Their minds are going to be blown,
which is great. Yeah, our RP Guildie, which we talked about a little bit earlier in the episode, had brought up how she's pretty excited for it.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get more in touch. The RP community is elusive in some ways. They're not normally the squeaky wheel unless you go and look for their communities, right? So.
Well, and even then, like I said, too,
I want to represent them too, and so
I want to learn more about it.
I'm not going to be the guy who's like, why are they wasting development money on player housing? Obviously, people want it. Okay,
well,
so that's fine.
Even if it's part of the player base, you're giving like a thing to. It really does give it to everybody. It just may be better for one section of the community, which is fine because then that also is probably going to expand to the casuals too. That maybe don't RP, but are like, I'm going to spend the 3 hours I play Warcraft and I'm going to build my house up. Like it makes total sense for it to even be coming out now.
Yeah.
So
and
I'm excited for it though.
And with how developed of a game they're attaching it to, they could like make it to where you get a dragon flying lampshade or something, right? And then when you walk in their house, they're like, "Oh my God, you have the season 2 fastest PvP trophy!" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, isn't it ballin'? It's on my trophy shelf."
There's probably going to be achievements to earn stuff. There'll be probably drops when it comes to raids about like earning a mount or something when it comes. Not like rideable mount. I mean like head mount. Like you hunted the boss or whatnot. Like there's gonna be stuff to where it's like, yeah, I got like the 1% drop rate like staff from this person, and that's now a house item kind of thing. Like there's a lot of cool things they can do with it. I'm pretty pumped.
Yeah, I it is a win-win, really, right? Like, I think it should be strictly cosmetic. Because if it's going to have maybe a function, like maybe have like a repair and a Mog thing there just for...
Yeah.
But, like, if you put, like, you can get the auction house building, the goblin building, for example, it's like, okay.
Yeah, I don't think you should be able to get the auction house or a mailbox, because then it's going to end up being what you said.
And the cool part is they can do a balance like they've done with mounts and pets, where they can have some aesthetics that you can buy, for example, from the store, or you could have ones you could earn, hopefully as equal quality. But
you would think.
Because we talked about our comment in the one episode. How prestigious is it to earn the new Brutosaur mount?
Well,
right?
I was going to say, not to go back to the Brutosaur discussion, but they burned, in my opinion, a lot of goodwill when they came out with that, because that $90 is ridiculous. Like, it's just
they sure did.
They built up a lot of it coming into the War Within and all the changes, and like looking back at the Holy Trinity.
was awesome.
Yeah. They've done a lot of goodwill building, and then to do that is just like, let's just pull the rug out. Like, I thought it was dumb. But anyway.
Yeah, it's almost like they got acquired by a giant gaming company or something. Crazy, right?
It's like Microsoft telling them to be like, you got to earn,
you got to release $90 mount. Do it now. And they're like, all right, fine, dude. They're not going to like it.
They just did the math about what is the most they'll ever buy for a mount. Well, it's been proven $90 now, so.
Well, it's not the highest. You saw how many people buy it. What's next?
Well, that's what I mean. It's like, but I don't know. They'll probably have some sort of metric.
Right.
And how far can we push it?
I don't know. Think about. Well, we're talking about the direct. I'll actually include this in the next Tavern Talk for sure.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. But Nick, I do believe that's the end of our direct coverage, is it not?
No, that's pretty much it. So thanks for tuning in to this special episode of the Valley of Spirits. That's pretty much what we're gonna do.
Yeah. Follow us on YouTube and Twitter and
all the
Facebooks, and we're on like Apple Podcasts and
find us anywhere you can find a podcast. Our RSS feed goes everywhere.
Yes, and so make sure you take a look. They do have an official roadmap posted as well.
We'll put it up too in editing. I'll make sure it's up there for all of it.
And I think in our news episode, we'll probably go over this a little bit more in detail as well.
Yeah.
But we just wanted to cover all the big topics, overarching things here.
It is a big thing, big event that just happened.
Huge, yeah.
All right,
so let us know in the comments down below what you want to hear more from, and I think we're going to do a cold ending. Ready, Nick?
All right.
May your loot be plentiful and your stuff be gorgeous. Ready? For the
Horde!